count. 7, 6, 5, 4.
Here we go, Roger.
On Insights, two eyes in the middle. INSIIGHTS, where we always talk the talk.
Rick, on a Wednesday.
What? What is going on? Wait a minute. What's going on my screen? I see you, Coach, and it's Wednesday. You what?
Just the luck of the Irish, I guess. Man, that baby girl coaching, she head coaching at North Florida Christian. They had a game last night. Papa, Daddy had to be there to support the daughter.
Understood. Hey, as my son says, say less. Understood.
I say understood, huh?
Yes, indeed.
Oh man, that was a little special. They were able to get their first W. Mama wasn't doing well, so I had to fill in, do some things, make sure she was okay, and I'm glad I was there because they won. So somebody in the family had to be there to show that support.
Indeed, and it's always nice to go out with a dub. Yes, indeed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You walk in the door, they tell, "Oh Lord, that's your daughter out there." I said, "Yeah, that's her." That's her. Is she like you? I said, "Well, no, she ain't like me. She doesn't use the language I use. So that's a big difference, which will probably serve her well."
Spanish, French, a little Francais.
A little bit of all of the above.
Combined into one.
Combined into one. Combined into one, brother. No. So it's all good. It's all good.
It
Man,
is.
how's it going? I saw a picture of you with your grandbaby on Facebook.
Yes, indeed, man. You know how it is. First grandchild, and it's a girl. So for me, I've had nothing but boys. So this is my first princess, and it's just having them all down for Thanksgiving. It just reminds you of how special family is and how fragile things are. I mean, just holding her in my arms, and she's looking at Papa, and is like, "Man, what am I gonna do with you?" I got my guns ready now for knuckleheads down the road. But it is a beautiful thing, and it was a beautiful Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving, man?
Everybody came up. They came up, and everybody was there. Both grands, Jeremiah, and then my big 8-month-old, he was there. All the girls. So it was really nice. It was really nice. So we had a lot to be thankful for. A lot of blessings. We had Thanksgiving one time, and we had all the family together down in Panama City in a timeshare. And that Saturday after Thanksgiving, always, that rivalry weekend is my favorite football day. I mean, I even like it better than New Year's Day. As soon as we arrived from Panama City, we got a call. My dad was sick. We had to turn around and go to Cocoa. He was in the hospital, and it was one of 3 times I went down to Cocoa, and he had pretty much deadlined and flatlined, and he heard my voice and came back. So it's that Thanksgiving time always reminds me when I get to that Saturday, it always reminds me of my dad and his fight and his struggles at that time. But jumping to my homegirl from Cairo, she said, "We on here trying to confuse people coming on Wednesday." Chiquita Miller with the little jump hook she used to like to throw in the lane and put her wings up and elbow people coming out. And oh yeah, she had a little meanness about her. And she come flying out of there, boy. Didn't want nobody to touch her. She throwing that little wing on them and get them off of her.
Yeah, is it had, Coach, or Does she still have it?
Knowing Chiquita, she still got it.
I'm sure.
Knowing Chiquita, she still has it,
Hey, Coach. One thing before we really get started, I got one more thing to be thankful for.
Okay.
Thank you, L.A. Raiders or Las Vegas Raiders, because they made my night Thanksgiving night. Oh,
Don't
I
laugh, because they
told
already got stuff coming for you. So don't start.
I got to get mine out now. Because I saw what them brothers did this week. I saw what the brothers did this week. Mm-hmm.
Well, Chiquita told me that I tell you don't hate.
Nothing but, Dr. Miller. Nothing but. We good.
K-Roll, they had a stick over there. But man, it's funny what people remember after remembering the Legends segment. The part about CJ, you know what they remembered?
What's that?
Him hitting me and knocking my teeth loose. Did it really knock your teeth loose, or was that just part of the story? CJ's a big fella. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he kind of got y'all back. I said, yeah, he did. He that's what we were trying to do, was toughen him up. And if we ain't do nothing else, we toughen the young man up. But we also have Earl doing what he does in terms of the high school review. I know that's one of your some people. That's one of their favorite parts of the show. Is
Coach
Earl.
Slick Rick, your favorite reporter's reporter. Man, oh man. The word of the day is brr. Man, it's colder than a polar bear's toenails out here. So I'm not going to keep you long because I need to find a heater. And what is heating up is a race for a state championship. Last week, teams had the opportunity to practice on Thanksgiving Day, and that is always an honor because that means you're one of the last men standing. So let's get to it. Over in South Georgia, Brooks County and head coach Maurice Freeman continue to bring the hammer as they wallop Warren County by a score of 51-30. Thomasville thrashed Rayburn County 49-24. So let's say congratulations to both of those squads. But of course, this week will not be easy as Brooks County will go on the road to take on an undefeated 13-0 Metter High School. Thomasville has the luxury of being at home versus a 10-2 Callaway squad. It will obviously be a tough contest for Brooks and equally as tough for Thomasville, but we must pull for the good guys. Back home, it was unfortunate for the day for Monroe as their season came to an end, falling to Trinity Christian 39-22. Madison County beat the brakes off of Bluntstown by a score of 35-0 and will now travel to Chiefland, who post an 11-1 record. And finally, Florida High went on the road and outlasted Trinity Catholic by a score of 17-12. This week, they will be on the road to Chaminade. It will be a long trip, but it will be fruitful because they will come back with a victory. I also believe that Madison County will take care of Chiefland. On the college front, Florida State missed an opportunity to become bowl eligible, the same way they missed the ball on an onside kick. I have never seen that before. What a shame. I will comment no further. And a big shout out to my FAMU Rattlers. Although the season did not end the way we wanted it to, they represented well and gave us an epic season that shall not soon be forgotten. We look forward to greater next year. Some people see the glass as half empty, but I see the glass as half full. And next season will be better than this one. With that, I'll see you all next week. Get vaccinated.
My man.
Your man, and he says the same, mutual respect. He loves to see you laughing. He said, you got to leave that back on so I could see my boy Rick the reporter cracking up and falling back in his chair. He said, that's what gets me going.
He is, you can tell he loves what he does, and the excitement, you can feel it, and that just it carries over. I mean, laughter is contagious, in my opinion. When I hear someone laugh, I bust out laughing most of the time because I have no idea what they're laughing for, but I definitely love it.
Well, we're gonna come back to FAMU and the trip to Southeast Louisiana. There's some things there that we wanna touch on. But we also high school football. You know, some of these guys and these young men. You know, their season's coming to an end, and they playing now for state championships. So you plan to be a legacy. You know, Chiefland 11-0. FAMU quarterback had a starting quarterback from Chiefland 30 years ago, and you know, Chiefland, that's one of the ways that we go to Orlando sometime down 27 and going through Chiefland. Avoid a lot of traffic. We come out over there by Ocala. And some real good FAMU rattlers that came out of Chiefland. And I love those small communities where everybody follows the team. Like Cairo, I love it. The city shuts down. They did in Merritt Island, and everybody goes to the game. And those young men, young women who are successful like that, they're heroes and heroines forever in their community. They're never, ever, ever forgotten. No.
There's just something about sports and and especially football that unites communities. I mean, the large ones have, don't get me wrong. I'm a big city kid. You're a big city kid. But you're right. Those small towns, when you go to the games and you see, when you go through, is either traffic going where you're going and everything else is just empty. And you could tell the love for the sports, the love for it unites. Sports do unite people a lot of times. And I mean, I think that's why I fell in love with sports because it often united, except for my family. But other than my family, it unites people usually. So, good luck to all the teams continuing to play. Good luck to congratulations to the teams who made it thus far. And hey, keep on doing it.
Yeah, and they got coaching jobs in high school opening up. I mean, God be looking for a coach. Thomasville County looking for a coach. You can get into Georgia coaching. Some of those pay 6 figures. Yes, sir. No classes. Nothing like being in Florida. Nothing like. I remember one of the principals told me, he said, y'all crazy in Florida. Y'all got kids transfer, go anywhere they want to go. They don't like the coach. They just get out and go somewhere else. It ain't like that in Georgia. You either make it or your ass don't play. The only way you transfer your whole city or your whole team and family got to get up and move. Otherwise, they better get along. And you see Thomasville High, they got the little kids warming up with them. They 7, 8, 9 years old with Thomas County jerseys on. And those kids are those heroes. They live to grow up to play for the high school team. You know, and you sit there, they got 90 kids out there playing football on the varsity. Everybody wants to play. And they get those kids so wrapped up in the community. You go to Brooks County over there with Morris Freeman over there. Man, they go over there. You think you at FAMU Cookman game. They barbecuing. They make spots the tailgate. They all parked in the lot on the asphalt basketball court. You smell the barbecue coming. You just follow the barbecue. And that's where the game is.
Hey, what's that smell? Oh, there's the game. Is that way? Okay, gotcha.
No, seriously, we couldn't find the game the first time we went over there. We went to the high school, and it was a new high school. That wasn't where the game was. So we had to go back downtown, and we just followed the crowd. That's how we got to the game. That's how I got to the game.
I remember when you guys went. I remember the highlights from that game. From I think it was Brooks County and
Thomasville.
Nah, I don't want to.
Thomasville?
Thomasville was, and it seemed like a college game. I mean, it was everywhere you looked, people were tailgating, people were in the stands doing their things. That's awesome. It's awesome. Simply awesome, man.
Man, they made it to the state championship. Went to Atlanta to see them play. They played in the old which is now Georgia State's home football stadium, and they were holding the state championship games in there, and it seemed like all of Brooks County. This is what they did. We got a video up there, sending them off, and going through. They drove by. They left the high school where the boosters had fed them and cooked for them. Drove by the new elementary school. Drove by the new middle school. Drove by all the schools. The kids out of class, standing up, lining along the interstate, waving, cheering, screaming. Then had to go by City Hall for another send-off. Imagine what it had been like if those guys had come back and they had won the state championship. Then they had a component where they say a prayer around the grave of the young men that got killed in a car accident, leaving practice one day, and man, that thing is pretty emotional. And they all go over and kind of touch a cross where they got the guys' jerseys hanging on it and stuff. That thing that Coach Freeman does with those guys is special. Yeah, it's up there. That thing got like 2,000 hits in less than a week. It went viral instantly. Everybody kind of knew about what they call the BC3. And that's what we do this for. To tell our story. And we use it as an avenue and a mechanism to talk about things that other media don't want to talk about. And then you have situations where people are afraid to talk about some things. And I guess we headed there right now. The Rattlers in Southeast Louisiana.
Wow. And
we had somebody say, well, they lived in Louisiana. They said if the team is going down there, Florida A&M better have extra security because it's a little special. And it was. We had a lot of fans come back and complain about how they were treated. The coup de grace was someone throwing a beer bottle that ended up hitting a 6-year-old young boy in the head. And his nose actually still having trouble today. They had to get him out of school yesterday. They didn't take him back to school today. Call the police or the security based on what people are saying now. And they were told they couldn't do nothing about it. What do you want us to do? We don't know who threw it. This is what some people have said. Now, mind you, I was not there. Then, as the FAMU faithful raised sand about it, this was at halftime. They threatened to remove them from the game. Now, that came from someone we all know who was at the game and heard it themselves. and got extremely stressed out. Said, now they'll put us out, almost threatening to arrest us for us getting in the way of a beer bottle somebody threw and hit that 6-year-old. So then when it got back, to Tallahassee, and the story, got out, because I understand it hit some other places before it even hit Tallahassee, that the people from Southeast Louisiana said that they looked at the security tapes, and based on their investigation, that couldn't have taken much longer than 45 minutes, that the stories were built on falsehoods.
Why in the hell would someone lie about a beer bottle being thrown and hitting a kid? That's asinine. No, it isn't. No, and I don't even know why that even surprises me. Because in this world, hell, the last 4 years before that, you've seen how half this country still undivided. I mean, divided, I'm sorry. And I love sports. I do. And I've said it's a great unifier, but it's also can be a divider when you have opposing everything, mentalities, hell, trying to even think about just common sense or decency. I mean, you can have fun. Look at how we do it with Cookman, okay? We talk a lot of smack. We talk smack at the games. There's no fighting in the stands. There's none of this. I mean, and when the game is over, we laugh, we joke, we go on about our business until next year. We continue to talk smack. But that's it. You're taking away from what it's supposed to be. And them PWIs sometimes the students, and I'm not blaming all of PWIs, but you don't, coach. I don't think if the situations were reversed and they had to come to brag, yeah, they would have gotten a lot of lips. That's what we do. We talk. No bottles would have been thrown. No water bottles, beer bottles, any kind of bottles would have been thrown. That's just no. It is asinine. It is asinine, and it's a shame that a team that good with an NFL caliber quarterback that this should overshadow that, because it takes away from that. It's a shame. It's pitiful, and something needs to be done. More security. I don't know, but something needs to be done. Something has to be done for the future, because this is in the past now. But
it's in the past, and unless some video comes up that shows what actually happened, it's not going to be much done about it, because they're going to say that, or as they're saying, it was nothing done. I mean, there's fabrications, that it was untrue. The correct path to have taken administratively would have been to just apologize. The security of all of our fans who attend our events are of utmost significance to us. And we want to make sure that all of our fans and visitors to our facility have a great time, win, lose, or draw. And if something happened that we do not sanction that, we apologize for that. We will look forward to making sure that does not happen in the future. And if anything happened, we apologize for that.
But did they do that?
No, that's not what they did. Because they're busy supporting their own fans. And I understand part of it. Tallahassee Police Department would not engage with our students because they never wanted it to come back and be an issue, that they mishandled them, something happened. So it could be an activity or something going on, and they would kind of stay out of it. I could take one Leon County deputy sheriff and put him at a gate They ain't try him. They didn't try her. We were at a gate. We were back in the days in Gaithan. We had a student that was being really, really, really disruptive. He came out the stands, and the female deputy sheriff slammed him through that double door over by the swimming pool, handcuffed him, and brought him back in 10 seconds. She got a standing ovation. You know, but that's just the difference. So I'm sure their campus police, which I imagine was who was there, we're not going to get involved with the students like that. Now I digress a minute. Suppose the 100 had been there. I'm just saying, suppose the 100 had been there. We all know their history. If something had happened, it was. And that's the only reason things didn't escalate, was that our fans were concerned that they knew they were going to flip the narrative and it was going to be something that we had started.
Yep. Yeah, I read that.
I can't imagine that being me and having restraint. They hit my grandson in the head. And he's hysterical like that. I can't imagine that. Somebody was going to get hurt. Might have been me, but he wasn't going to be the last one hurt. And I give my respect to the grandfather or the man who was there with his grandson or relative under his care at the game. I always wondered what would happen if the team was aware of it, and from what I have heard, they were. And we're working on trying to gather some more information so that we can give a more in-depth story in terms of what's happened with it. But this is one of those times that we have received a number of contacts in terms of people asking us if we were going to mention it. Yeah, that's what we're here for, y'all, to mention it. We try to stay really, really on the side of positive stories and not to accentuate the negative situations to anything. But part of what we do, even when I was a coach, you always have to teach these young men how to handle themselves in certain situations, even when they are wronged, that you can't sit there and fight it at that time because you could end up dead. So at the end of the day, I tell my grandson, I'm telling him now, this is what you do. This is how you handle it. When you get back to us, then we'll get it straight then. But don't sit there fighting about your rights then and you've been mistreated and you're wrong, because it's going to escalate into something else that it wasn't.
It's a shame we still have to have that talk.
Oh yeah, you got to talk to them. And I know we're targets. And when things happen, you have to teach them how to deal with it, because in certain situations, there are law enforcement officers who are looking for a reason to do things. I've had, when we've done our leadership academy, we've had law enforcement officers tell the students the same things and tell them how certain places they go, they too are mistreated. And they're police officers, they're law enforcement officers, and the things that they go through sometimes before they recognize that they're really officers. And how even when they are officers, they still threaten them. So they understand how that goes, but it's just a thing that we have to be very careful of in terms of educating and teaching our young men how to handle adverse situations. And don't make a big deal out of it now. You just get home to us, and then we'll try to resolve it from there.
Get home safely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And please don't have dreads like both of my kids do. Don't have dreads and
I spoke to FAMU High basketball team. Thank you, Coach Desir. I love you guys. They were 20 of them. They're a pretty good group. And they're going to wear their thing. We wore afros, had the hair braided and stuff. So we just try to tell them that, let me tell you what comes along with your cry for freedom and to do what you want to do. The stereotype that comes with that and how it hurts you in terms of even getting jobs and things. So all we could do is try to tell them. After that, don't give them an excuse not to hire you. Don't do that. Don't give them an excuse not to hire
Get in there first.
you. Get in there first. Hey, remembering the legends segment brought to you by the reporter's favorite reporter.
With basketball season tipping off, it's appropriate to show that there are many ways to not only get to the league, but to carve out a successful career. One player who exemplified this desire to succeed against the odds was the player known as the Little General. On today's Legend, we spotlight NBA champion and HBCU alum Avery Johnson. Born March 25, 1965 in New Orleans, the road to the NBA wasn't an easy one for Johnson. Despite his high school going 35-0 and winning a state title, there weren't many people knocking down the door other than 5'3" guard to run their college program. Johnson had to start out at New Mexico Junior College for a year before going to Cameron University for another season. Having grown 8 inches, Johnson then reunited with his high school coach, who was now an assistant at Southern University, is when Johnson started to flourish. His first year, Johnson led the SWAC in assists and was named SWAC Player of the Year. In his senior season, Johnson led the NCAA in assists and became the first Division I player to average double digits in points and assists. Despite being named SWAC Player of the Year for the second straight year in 1988, Johnson's name was not called by an NBA team on draft night. He wasn't ready to give up on his dream, so he played a season in the USBL. The next season, however, he was able to latch on with the Seattle Supersonics, beginning a 16-year career that saw him play with Denver, Houston, Dallas, and Golden State. However, Johnson is most remembered for his time with the San Antonio Spurs, where he, along with the Admiral, David Robinson, helped lead the Spurs to their first NBA championship. In fact, it was Johnson's last-minute jump shot that clinched the title for the Spurs against the New York Knicks. Following the 2003-04 season, Johnson retired and became an assistant coach with the Dallas Mavericks. The following season, he was elevated to head coach. 2 years later, Johnson was named Coach of the Year, and in 2006, Johnson led the Mavericks to their first NBA Finals appearance, where they would lose to the Miami Heat. Johnson would also coach the New Jersey Brooklyn Nets, and also in college, coaching the Alabama Crimson Tide from 2015 to 2019. His successes on and off the court, he had his number 6 jersey retired by the San Antonio Spurs and was named to the San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame. You see, legends come in all shapes and sizes, but one thing all legends have is an unwaverable determination. They believe in themselves even when no one else does. They continue even when others tell them to quit. Johnson wasn't the biggest or the quickest. He may not have had the loudest or deepest voice, but when he spoke, people listened and followed. His determination made him a legend. You know, I think the reporter made up a new word, unwaverable. I'm gonna write that one down. I'm gonna have to look that one up.
You need to do that. That goes along with the 5'3" point guard. That's not 5'3".
Muggsy Bogues said, "Yeah, I was taller than him." Woo! But on the serious tip, well, we were serious there too.
Yeah,
But
I'm serious.
but Avery Johnson, why I liked him was that just his determination, and he didn't, it wasn't about the big stats and all of that. He was just a leader, and you can lead in different ways. and he was still a winner too. So I thought that was important for people to hear.
Did you ever meet him or interview him?
Trying to think about his early days. I've seen him play. I covered a game. I don't know if I interviewed. I never interviewed him one on one,
Okay.
but uh, I did catch the Magic versus the Spurs a couple of years.
Okay. Stan, did you know, breaking news, that Florida State athletic director is retiring?
No. Mm.
FSU athletic director Coleman to retire at the end of the academic year or until a replacement is announced.
Dion? Oh, I'm sorry. That name just keeps popping up, so I just thought I'll throw it out there. I'm sorry. No. Wow. Wow. Does a non-bowl season do that?
Yeah.
Well, college football, I mean, to be for it to be Thanksgiving, it was really whew, a lot of people, a lot of changes in the college scene this past week.
Yes, it was. And one thing, schools who fired their coaches before the season ended, they got an early jump on who they were going to hire. Anyone surprise you more than others?
Yes. The Notre Dame, Kelly going to LSU. That surprised me. People don't usually leave Notre Dame.
No,
Everyone talks about Notre Dame being was the standard, of one of the pinnacle reaches of college football. That if you coach there, you can.
yeah, it's a
And
destination.
he went to LSU, and I know why. And it seems, and that combination seems so odd because Kelly is a Northeast guy, and now he's going to Cajun country, where people down south usually slow to warm to Northerners. From, and I know this personally. And so that was odd to me. That seems strange. But then thinking about it, Coach, he thinks he can win a championship at LSU quicker than he hasn't. He didn't win in 13 seasons. The all-time winningest coach at Notre Dame, and he said, "All right, bye, y'all. I'm going to LSU. I'm going to the SEC." All right, the grass ain't always greener though.
Well, for $95 million in base salary, a longevity bonus will push his total compensation to at least $100 million. His salary will start at $9 million per year his first year, and then it rises in increments through 2030 till 2031. They will pay him $500,000 every year as long as he remains LSU's coach July 1st. $500,000 if LSU makes a bowl game. Mind you, they've gone 20 straight years until it was snapped last year because of a self-imposed ban. Isn't that something? One-time payment of $75,000 if they appear in the SEC championship, $150,000 if they win the game, $500,000 if he captures a national title. They agreed to give him 2 courtesy vehicles or 2 car allowances worth $1,000 a month, an interest-free loan up to $1.2 million in order to buy a house. Interest-free loan, 50 hours of travel per year on private planes. You wonder why he did. LSU's athletic director has been very very, very aggressive. Got Kim Mulkey at Louisiana Tech to come turn around that women's team. He hired the premier baseball coach for a baseball fan base at LSU that sells out every home game. But then you saw the Florida State game. They said University of Florida that's paying over $500 million in fired head coaches' salaries, not the coach. $500 million, not the coach. And the kids that back down out of going to Oklahoma to follow your coach to, was that USC or UCLA?
USC.
He's the one that has an adjustment to make going to California from Norman, Oklahoma. He's
Lincoln Riley. That move. That surprised. That was my surprise before Kelly BK went to LSU. You're having and when stuff like that happens, I often wonder, did something else happen? It always makes me wonder. Just
Well, the AD, Notre Dame's AD said he had a feeling something didn't surprise him because he said he just really thought that he was getting a little itchy to leave. He said it didn't catch him off guard, but he said the program's much better off now than it was before he hired him. So we will see what happens. And then you have coaches like Miami and some other places where they had to fire the staff for the head coach to keep the job. So it's going to be interesting.
I don't know. It's amazing all this money. Where does all this money?
Players can't get paid. And Spencer Rattler leaving Oklahoma, and the FAMU fans talking about we need to gauge his interest in coming to Florida A&M.
Rattler for Rattler. Rattlers for Rattler.
Okay, you gauge that interest. He's a Heisman Trophy candidate. Okay, you gauge that interest. Out of 300 universities, it's in his dream to come to FAMU. I mean, I love how much we love our institution, but he's going to be at a top 20 program.
Hey, you never know, Coach. Coach, you got to shoot your shot.
I don't have a problem shooting your shot, but I don't waste my bullets on it too long. Do you think he has an interest in coming to FAMU? Yeah.
Only if he has some ties. Only if people start reaching out now. Hey, I gave y'all a slogan. I can't do too much more.
We go get him. Shot with Thibodeau. Remember, Thibodeau was visiting FSU and told him he had to come visit FAMU. I mean, when he came out of high school, he visited campus, and I mean, if he was leaving, I could understand that. Okay, we had a relationship with him. Now, maybe we could get in there and get him again. But, moving along, you didn't have a good week, Rick.
Nah.
Sports Diva was yelling how long as she beat Rick, she was fine. You got a tie now with you and your tight boy, Les, both at 57 wins. Land and Lamp both are one behind y'all. So it's one game to separate four people.
Tight race going into these final 6 games here. Yeah, boy. but tell me,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I'm just did you and your brother collab or something? I mean, y'all beasted this week.
We did. It was about time for me. It was about time for me. I had that. I mean, I got 2 weeks. I had 1. So I'm only beating Florida Hot Boy because he just came on. I'm one behind Sports Diva, so I got a few weeks to try to get there, but this week it was a lot of surprises in the picks, and we were able to get a few in there.
Yes,
You had a 3-point swing. You know, you had a 4. That might have been your worst week of the year. Now I see a 3 on there and a 2. But you have been rolling pretty good there for a minute there.
Yeah. You know, Pittsburgh. I don't mind losing Dallas. I'll lose Dallas every week. I don't mind that. And a couple more I can't even think of. I'm on, as Coach Belichick says, I'm on to this week. On to the next week.
I know that's right.
On to the next week. Hey, Coach, there's something we do. I would love to do this with you, to have a couple of segments one week to talk about the FCS playoffs versus the Black College
national championship game.
National champion, vying for that. You know, winning the SWAC, winning the SWAC and MEAC or conferences, and then playing for the Black National Championship. I really want to get your take on.
Let's talk about it going into the Celebration Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, I have some feelings on it.
You know, I go back and forth, so I want to think about it a little bit more as well. But I do. It's something I love hearing people's opinions. I was on the SWAC fan site and just looking at some of the comments on there, and some of and it's going both ways. You know, just hey, this, that. But I don't want to talk about it now. Just something I want to put in your ear.
Oh, yes, sir. We'll bring it up. We'll talk about it going into the Celebration Bowl.
Excellent.
which is coming up real soon.
Yep, 2 weeks.
As Chiquita says, trying to confuse people coming on Wednesday night. My apologies, and not my apologies.
Yeah. We got to keep you on your toes, Dr. Miller. We got to keep you. You know, I'm glad you. Thank you for joining us. But we had to come in this week. We had to. We had to.
we appreciate everybody, yes. And we look forward to y'all being with us next week. And as I said, we're gathering some more information, and as we gather more information, we will most definitely share that information. And until then, y'all know.
From Insights. Visit our website at insights.com. 2 I's in the middle, INSIIGHTS.
Insights is the copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on Insights represent their independent thoughts and representation.
Until next week.
We appreciate y'all.
Stay masked.
Stay masked. New strain out there. Ain't no joke.